So that's a basic monopoly model. So the rest of the costs were just spending doing some, I guess, some extra things around monopolies and then some application. So if you look at the monopoly outcome, right, so PM and QM here, the monopolist could do better. Because what's happened? The monopolist has jacked the price up from PC up to PM. It's cut some people out of the market. So some people who bought coffee at $3.50 aren't willing to buy a cup of soy latte at $4.50. So there's those people between QPC and QM. They've stopped buying soy lattes. Because at a price of $4.50, they won't buy. At a price of $3.50, they would have. So if you're the monopolist, you would be thinking at this point, you know, I could still make money selling to those guys. Because your marginal cost, so look at something like Q star. Your marginal cost for Q star is just the height of the marginal cost curve. That's low. But the price is P star, it's high. And if you could somehow find that person who used to buy soy lattes at $3.50 and stopped buying them at $4.50, and you went to that person and you said, you know, hey, buddy, soy latte, $4. Don't tell anyone. You make money because it only costs you $3.25 to make soy. But you get to sell them for $4. You're undercutting your old price, though. You're charging everyone else who wants to buy soy lattes $4.50, but somehow this buddy of yours, you're letting them have it for $4. Why can't you do that? Why is that a problem? Why is that hard to do in markets? Well, what happens if people hear that you're selling soy lattes out the back for $4 when you sell them out the front for $4.50? Like you might find an awful lot of people will start coming around the back asking for the $4 specials to save themselves a 50 cents. They don't have to pay the price that you're posting at the front for $4. So it's going to be difficult to be able to sell some coffees at one price and other coffees at another price. So this is called this idea of price discrimination. Right? So price discrimination means that you can make more money. Price discrimination means you can make more money by selling coffee to some people at one price and then turning around and selling the same coffee. There's still soy lattes coming out of the same machine in the same cups, but you're selling it to them at a slightly different price. This is what's called price discrimination, meaning you're discriminating. Some people are getting something for $4.50 and some people are getting for $4. In order to do that, though, that's so that you can make this sale, right? That Q star sale, which is what you're trying to do. You're trying to sell to the people who somehow got cut out of the market when you raise the price up as a monopolist. The problem is, though, you've got these high-value customers, right? The guys who are buying at $4.50. And you've got these low-value customers, the people who are buying it for $3.50. And how do you prevent your high-value guys from going around the back of the shop and pretending to be your low-value guys? And this is the idea of discrimination. You need some way of telling the difference. Because the last thing you want to do is have all the people that you used to sell, last thing you'd want would be everyone showing up at the back of the shop and asking for $4 specials. And no one coming through the front of the shop and paying $4.50. Because you've done yourself, now the price in the market is $4. You lowered the price on yourself because you tried to make a special price for one part of the market. It turned out all of the market wanted that price. So it's this idea of how I discriminate. How do I tell the difference? Does this happen? Well, the answer is absolutely. Every market has price discrimination. Anytime you see, a senior citizen walks into a movie cinema, flashes a card, and gets to get in there and get a seat right next to you guys for half the price you're paying. Right? It's not like the senior citizen is getting an inferior service. They're sitting in a seat right next to you in the same movie cinema. They're just paying less for it. Or children. That annoying 8-year-old who comes in and kicks the back of your seat all the way through Avengers, right? That child got to sit in that seat for half the price you did, enjoying the same movie and kicking the back of your chair. Is that fair? How can that be? Right? They're getting the same thing at half the price you're paying. People who book in advance get it cheaper. If you go into something like What If, and you're trying to book a hotel room in Sydney, you get a much cheaper price if you book it a month in advance, and you're going to really get screwed if you try and book the night before. That's just what's called different models of discrimination. They're charging people for the same hotel room different prices, depending upon, in this case, how you book it or when you book it. What if? Cheap tickets for customers who buy en masse. All these things are different types of price discrimination. It's fundamentally exactly the same good. It's not like if you go through What If and you book a month in advance for the Hilton that you get a different hotel room than the guy who's paying 3 times as much as you who made his Hilton booking 4 hours in advance. You're getting exactly the same rooms, but you're being charged very different prices. And that's this idea of price discrimination. And it's all due to this idea that you want to be able to charge some people a high price and other people a low price. So you might think about here, right, where I've got a premium price and a discount price. This is a monopolist again, choosing. So now the monopolist doesn't just choose the market price. The monopolist chooses a bunch of different prices and charges different people all different prices. Again, it's a way of boosting monopoly profits. You still make money, but tell me you're discriminating between. Now, this is only going to work if you can discriminate, meaning you can make sure that a guy who buys it for books a month in advance can't, say, resell to someone who wants to buy it 24 hours in advance. Because What If had a secondary market, you could do something like go on, book all the hotel rooms a month in advance, and then turn around and start, for those guys that are booking it 24 hours in advance, and tell them, don't pay the What If price. Come over to me, I've got a hotel room, and I'm only charging you, $450. So if you want to be able to price discriminate, you need to tell the difference between different types of customers, say based on whether they have senior citizen cards, how old they are, or when they bought their tickets. And then you want to be able to make sure that those people you sell them to can't then resell them to someone else. Because you don't want people coming in, buying 9 senior passes, and then popping out the front and selling those senior passes off to someone else. Right? You've got to stop those. Because if people do that, it breaks your whole model. Everyone gets a discount price then. Someone comes in and says, I want, 300 senior passes to the Avengers, and then proceeds to go out the front and sell out your senior passes for $1 more than you paid for them. Right? So movie theaters, What Ifs, airplanes, they do all sorts of things to try and stop people from reselling because it breaks this model.